Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning.
And I'm Trinity French.
And we are your business coaches at Wired to Change.
With the number 2.
We help you get your business to the level you want it to be so you can enjoy the life of a small business owner.
And what a life it is, Mike Manning.
We have had a good day, and you have a fun weekend coming up.
I do
because
have a
you're a
fun.
small business owner, and you had to ask no one for time off.
I did not. Well, I had to ask the HBIC, but
Yes.
luckily she said yes.
She's on your side,
She
right?
is
Yeah.
on my
So,
side. No, but we have had one of those kick-ass killer days.
Yeah.
It started with a great coaching session with a client that is so far ahead of where she thought she was going to be that she's
yes.
kind of her head's spinning a little bit at how much success that she's had.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that she really thought that she was going to get to that point.
Yeah.
And then we followed that up with launching our first sales and marketing business mastermind group. Yep. We had a fun crew via virtual meeting, and we had an absolute blast with that.
We did. I've talked to 2 of the people since then, 3 of the people since then, and they found it a lot of nuggets that they got because we go around the table and somebody will ask a question of kind of what they're looking for, and then everybody gets to give their help and somebody they know suggestions, and so it's very well received. But it's just, and we've talked about this, Thursdays are probably the best days for us, coaching, BNI, and then the podcast.
Yeah. And
especially when we have wonderful guests like this. So.
And we do. And so today we're going to have 2 really fun episodes with a very, 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 very special guest, the one, the only, Miss Heather Widener.
Thank you for having me.
Hi. And I just gave the most shit-eating cheese grin to Heather because not only is she a kick-ass businesswoman, she also is the one who delivered my bridal dreams and made them come true with my bridal florals, which were absolutely amazing, magazine worthy, if I do say so myself.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a bit today about you business-wise. I know you very well personally because we've been friends now for a few years. And believe it or not, I think that you're not the first guest that we've had on the show that I met through kickball.
We've not spoken of your kickball days in a while.
We have not. But that is how Heather and I met, was on our kickball league.
Yes, it was a great time.
It was.
And 2 weeks ago when Trinity goes, hey, our guest on, what are we, on the 24th today, is going to be my friend Heather. I'm like, okay. So I'm doing my research on Heather. I'm Googling, like nothing's ringing a bell. Other than Trinity and Heather being connected on limited social media because Heather does a good job. I'm like, I got nothing on this woman. So, which is fine. Trinity and I are up for a challenge anytime. And Heather walks in, is like, I do know her.
Yes,
We spent time at the wedding.
Yes, you are very helpful.
But there were no pictures of you on your social media stuff, which is by design. Yes.
Yeah, just a few.
So good for you, by the way.
Well, thank
to be
you.
hidden. So.
Well, yeah, with everything going on in the world today, you just can never be too careful.
Yeah.
And then there's me. I'm like, wide open.
Well, you saw what she posted yesterday on her trip to the nail salon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I love about her. She just throw it all out.
This is the dress that I was wearing. So for our listeners out there, we might as well tell them the story.
Yep.
So COVID-19 pounds happened to me. I love my husband, Scott. He has been cooking fabulous food. I sent home Mike with some cheesecake yesterday he had made for Becky's birthday. Hey, Becky, happy birthday. And I can't blame it on him. I have to blame it on the fact that the gym has been closed and I have not been working out.
I agree with you.
I normally
We were very dedicated
before
all this.
Before all this.
Keep going.
So
we'll start with the gym.
And then you top it all off with the fact that my nails have looked like total crap for months on end, and Scott has been on my ass to go get my nails done. And it's just one of those things where I was like, I'll paint them myself and it'll be fine. But I've always had my nails done. It's just one of the things that I like to have pulled together. So I call the nail salon and I'm like, Laura, oh my God, it's Trinity. And they know my voice when I call because I go there so frequently. And she's like, it's been forever. What time do you want to come in? Puts me down for an appointment. I walk into the nail salon. Let's just say I was feeling cute that day. I was feeling cute because I just gotten a new dress and I put it on and I thought, this dress is so comfy. I might buy another one in a different color. It's got pockets.
Ooh.
Even better.
Yeah. But no, I walk into the flipping nail salon and Laura and Joanne walk over to me and they are so excited. They're like, oh my God, Trinity, you're here. Like everybody's staring at me like I'm a freaking celebrity. And she runs over and takes 2 looks at my belly and then does a double take. And I was like, oh my God, she looked at me like thinking I was pregnant. And like this is going through my head, but she didn't say anything. And then Joanne comes over and grabs me around the waist and is like, congratulations.
Oh my God.
And I looked at her and then I looked at Laura and I said, nope, not pregnant, just fat. And everybody in the salon starts laughing. And it was so freaking embarrassing because they thought for sure, both of them thought that I was pregnant and were very excited to congratulate me on my newly formed bump. But really, in actual, it was literally a burrito. Like I had just ate a breakfast burrito.
You've been working hard on this physique.
Yeah, I've been working hard on this COVID body.
And so I'm over at her house yesterday and we're meeting, going over our mastermind stuff. And she tells me the story. I'm like, well, anyways, I'm surprised to think, like, how do you get to that conclusion? And then we're sitting there, and I get a notification on my Facebook that she posted it on Facebook.
Oh, I did.
But that's what I love about her is like, folks, here's what you get
here
all
it
of me.
is.
Yeah.
Here's what happened.
That's exactly
And
what I love about you too.
Oh,
yeah, I'm like wide open. I thought it was really funny because it is, in my opinion, in very bad taste to ever ask a woman if she's pregnant unless you know her. They volunteer that information. Men, ladies, for those of you who are listening, especially if it's one of your clients, I would never assume that they were pregnant and say something to them because
it may just be COVID.
It might just be COVID. Yes. And
I think everybody has either gone one way or the other. Either they're very dedicated because they have all this extra time, or I'm like you, where I'm like, well, we'll get back to the gym.
We'll get back to the gym, like eventually.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Heather and I were doing really good working out together and going to classes. And
the classes that we were taking, they haven't had since
right after COVID.
Yeah.
They haven't been, and our gym just reopened too.
Yeah.
And they're not doing they don't have group fitness classes. And that's what
not the ones we were
do.
taking. Yeah.
Okay. And you saw who else's studio opened the other day.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I saw who else looked pregnant.
No, I did that one time years ago, and I don't. Even if I know, I wait for somebody else to say it publicly, and even if I know, because if you walk behind a pregnant woman, you can tell she's pregnant because it's just out. So behind them, you don't see. So, I've been around long enough. I got a couple of boys, and grandson. I kind of been through this a little bit, but I said that I was like late 20s. And that's been 30 years ago. I haven't said anything since. But anyways, you know who else's studio opened this week?
Who?
Alicia.
Oh, yes. I saw
Gerardo.
that.
Yep.
Alicia.
Former guest on the show.
Shout out to you. I think she was actually one of the first female business owners we had on the show.
Oh, yeah. She was
early.
And
she actually, we need to bring her back on the show because quick update. A lot of the local yoga studios have gone out of business, and she has managed to stay in business. She pivoted her platform to doing online classes and also doing some childcare, like stuff for kids, which was genius, and just opened back up and now has people back in the studio on a limited basis. But I'm really proud of her for hanging in there because when so many people were going under.
in the video she posts of doing these handstands and these yoga, everything's up in the air. The only thing touching the ground are her hands when she does these unbelievable things. And it's like, you know, on sides of cliffs.
Yes.
And just, I think Cameron, one time, I think he was laying down or he was pushed up a little bit, and she was doing some sort of handstand split on him sitting on something or elevated. It's like, You people, A, very impressive, but B, you people are crazy.
Well, and I think that she has him trained really well
Yes.
because he is willing to stop and take all the photos for her that she needs to post on her social media.
Yeah.
Because she does a great job
She
with
does.
her social media following.
Yep.
It takes a lot of work to get there because I was taking yoga for a while and I was like, oh yeah, let me try some like handstands and stuff. You have to build up to that. If you don't, you're in a lot of pain the next day. Like I learned that pretty quickly. I was like, oh shoot, okay, maybe I'm not as advanced at all.
Like that one class that we were taking.
Yeah.
And Heather
The
gets
Umbala.
up, looks at me, walks out in the hallway, and I was like, oh, she's
I
going
thought
to
I was
throw
going to
up.
throw up. Yeah, I really did. But that's
you
what I
didn't.
loved
You
about
held it
that
together.
class.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it makes
was
you
an
want to
ass
die.
kicker.
And then you're like, okay, I feel so
I
great
feel
now.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is the first florist we've had on the show.
It is the first florist that we've had on the show. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about you celebrating your 6-year anniversary with the insurance that you sell and financial investing that you do. And,
And
we're
no
also
picture on the website because I thought, all right, I'll go to their website. At least I get a nothing. So I told Trinity, there's nothing on the website about her.
We need to get you some professional headshots, girl.
Oh yeah, I know. I do need to do that. But yeah, with Juneri, if you don't have your securities,
Yeah.
then you're probably not on that website.
Okay.
So
There's like 4 people there.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, but I think it's 4, yeah. The 2 owners and then a guy and a girl.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
I tried to sit for my Series 7. Well, I was a little overly optimistic on the fact that I'm a really good test taker.
You are.
And it's a strength of mine. I can kind of glaze through some information and then sit down and take a test and ace it without doing a whole lot of studying. So I had read like half of the Series 7 prep book.
I'm impressed you did that because just reading that book,
Well-
It
is
was horrible.
difficult.
Yeah, and then I went and said I didn't have enough time to finish studying, so
You're
I went
so
and sat
This
for
is
the
what I was
exam.
waiting
Yeah, so I was like, screw it, I'm going to sit for the exam anyways. I know at least like 60% of the information. Bet you I can wing the other 40%. No. So I failed, and I just never got the desire to go sit for it again.
Well, I'm impressed that you even did it once because
And that I admit
I
that
thought
I
about
failed
it.
at it.
Yeah, I failed my license test twice before I passed it because they work to make you fail.
They do.
You know?
Yeah, and the questions are always written to trick you.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the
Tricky
most
tricksters.
true. And there's 5 answers.
Yeah, and like
oh, man.
4 of
Yeah.
them are all true, but
Yeah.
one of them's really true. You know, so you're like, fuck this test. I hate
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt about the Series 7.
Yeah.
So can I tell a quick Trinity story?
Sure, of course.
So she's heard this before. I'm going to tell her for another year and a half till I forget about it. We did episode 100 a couple weeks ago with Scott.
Congratulations.
Thank you, with Scott and Becky. And after the second day, Trinity actually made Scott take the Strengths Finders test.
I did.
Really?
Yes. Because it's really important to me that I know how the brains work of people that I'm going to surround myself with. And it told me a couple of things about him. One, it gave me insight into his personality, but also I was like, ooh, I can mold this guy. If he's willing to take this test.
See?
Oh my God, here we go.
Hang on a sec. In defense of guys, after date number 2 of a girl we really like, he'd have taken 3 more tests. I would have done the same thing
Yes.
for Becky. I would have given up the next 4 Saturdays to take a stupid test just as long as I could keep going out with you. So, it was no surprise Scott took the test.
No, he's a great
And
guy.
knowing
He's
Trinity,
amazing.
now no surprise she asked for it.
This is true as well.
He was
That's such a
probably
good
like,
story.
this girl is such a weirdo.
He's a good sport.
He
is
is,
a good
yeah.
sport.
He really is.
And I made him pull out his answers the
so
other day
funny.
and resend them to me because I was like, oh, I need to review
my
your
God.
results. And I also had him take the and give me his results for his 5 love languages.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good one.
His was acts of service, or yours were?
So my top one is acts of
Yeah.
service. That's how I like to be loved, and his is quality time.
That's right. Or cooking for
Or
his
cooking.
spouse. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Which again is acts of service because
Yes.
he cooks dinner almost every night.
Yeah. And you willingly eat
I
it.
willingly eat it and feel incredibly grateful that I don't have to worry about putting dinner together.
Yep.
Because
Kinda
if
nice.
it's
Does
if
he
it's
still
me,
bring you coffee and everything?
He does. He does.
He did. We were Zooming a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden she goes, we're talking, and I just see her do this. Oh, thanks, baby.
Yeah.
And like, Scott bringing coffee upstairs. I'm like, don't ever complain to anybody about anything, Trinity.
No, I would never complain about him. I know that I hit the spouse jackpot when I married that man.
Yep.
I also waited a whole lot longer to do it.
Yep.
So I actually knew that he was the one.
Yep.
And I'm lucky that all those other idiots didn't scoop him up.
Yes.
Because he had other girlfriends before me. We won't talk about them because they all suck.
Well, you dated an island of
they don't
guys.
matter.
Yeah, there's an island of guys. That's the backstory. We'll get into that later about that. But anyways, let's talk about Heather here.
So, Heather's flower shop, Flower Creations Rolesville. Super cute.
Thank you.
I think that the work you do is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
Obviously, I'm very partial because you did my wedding, and it was amazing.
I loved it. You had such a different idea than most brides, and that's what I really enjoyed about it, bringing it all together.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the few that was like, get all the air plants and all the succulents, and I want them everywhere, and I wanted it very green and natural, like a giant bohemian garden of just wild things. And I still have about 50% of the plants that we used in my wedding I have growing in my house because the air plants, well, a lot of them died. But
I'm impressed
and
you
the
still have that
succulents.
many, though.
Yeah. I've been trying to, but they've been dying off slowly as I forget to, because I have them stuffed in all corners of the house.
Now, that's not the funniest thing brought back from the wedding house.
Oh my
What
God.
was?
About the boxes that you guys opened.
Oh, yeah, you still have my beach chair, too.
No. Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
They should have taken 10 of those.
So one of the coolest things about the wedding was the fact that so many people pitched in to help us clean up. One of the worst things that happened was so many people pitched in to clean up because Scott and I were getting ready to go to bed one night, and I was like, I can't stop until I open up all these boxes and look inside them. And he was like, well, you're just going to put them away different. And I was like, no. I'm like, I just have to know what's in each of them. Thank God, because I open up a box and someone had packed the leftover Chinese food that we had brought to the beach house.
Oh,
So leftover Chinese
my
food,
God.
made it from my house to the beach house, sat in the refrigerator for 7 days, and then got repacked in a box and sent back with us. And then in another box, I find just a random bag of baby carrots, just thrown in a box with some decorations, and
We're talking one day. She goes, "You're not going to believe what somebody left."
Yeah,
You
so
would think those would go in the trash.
One
can.
would,
You
yeah.
We had a couple of those
but
around.
I guess people were like,
They didn't
Trinity's
wanna-
hard up for Chinese food. Like they're just in the
She
mode
needs
of
these
throw
carrots.
everything in the boxes.
They felt bad for Trinity because during her wedding weekend, she only sold one house. That's why.
I can't
Only
even,
while she
can't
was.
even remember.
I was gonna say. I mean, that's awesome that you did.
I did. I
You know,
sold a couple during the
yeah.
wedding. Yep.
Yep.
But that moment in time when Heather first brought me my bouquet, and I cried. And I was so excited.
it was all just so surreal because prepping for that, you know, it's all just okay. This is my client, and I need to take care of this. But then it was like walking in. I was like, oh, like. You look so beautiful, and it was just it was awesome. That house was awesome. Everything was awesome.
It was
Everything
amazing.
about it was awesome.
And I was really fortunate that I got to work with so many people that I knew. Like Mike officiated the wedding, which was amazing.
That was a
And
lot
he
of fun.
helped me with decor too. He didn't even mean to.
What did I?
I was just like, I need help with this,
Yeah.
and this, and then you were like, okay, and
Yeah,
then you
I
were
mean,
hanging
that's-
stuff, helping me do whatever.
I have an event background, so I'm like, all right, jump in.
Yeah.
So,
But that was kind of what everybody
Yeah.
did. You know, it was great.
So how did you get into the floral industry? What broke you into that?
I actually didn't mean to get into it at all. So I worked for one of the local universities for almost 4 years, and I was doing the student health insurance, and I liked my job, but I felt very limited in what I could do, and I just wanted to be my own boss. So since I had over 10 years experience in the health field, I decided I would get my license. So I got my health and life license, and I started selling insurance, and I started from literally nothing, like zero. So when you're doing that, it's hard to eat or survive or do anything. So after about a year, I was really grinding it out hard, and I just wanted some extra money. So I started delivering for the flower shop in my town. I liked it. And also insurance, there's no creativity. So I needed something, it's just numbers. and I love that part, but it's a totally different part of your brain,
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was missing that. Like I was missing something that made me like excited. And so then I started working, delivering the flowers, learning more about that. And then the lady I was working for, she was getting older. She had back surgery, and she decided she was going to close her shop. So I was like, well, Rolesville needs a florist, so I guess I'm going to buy this. So I bought it, and I literally had no idea what I was getting into. But I'm so glad I did. And now I'm going in January. It'll be 5 years that I've had my florist at my flower shop. So I'm really glad I did. I love it, especially with everything this year. It's nice to like put something good back and positive, and it's exciting when I actually have work to do, because for a while we didn't have much to do. So
Yeah, because people weren't sending anything. And I mean, crap, your busiest season, prom and all of the
All
end
the
of the year
events and
dances and graduation
weddings.
and weddings. And I mean, I can't even imagine how hard that had to have hit you, because you think about all the things that people get, even like funerals, like
Yep.
all the stuff that people get together for in large groups that need floral arrangements pretty much all went to the wayside.
Yeah. And I mean, most people weren't even going to their loved ones' funerals, which is hard enough, and then they're nervous just to send anything because we didn't know much about this virus. So they're like, well, I don't want to send something that someone's going to catch the virus from. But now that we know a little more, things are definitely picking back up.
That's good. What would you say was the thing that you did that helped you to pivot the most? Or did you have a pivot?
Oh, I love that you actually used that word, because I was thinking that earlier. Like, as a business owner, you always have to pivot. And that's definitely what I realized, because when I realized, okay, there's no big events, then, okay, I need to push my everyday arrangements more and be more involved with my community however I can, even though it's limited. So I'm actually going to start teaching a class, the Rolesville Parks and Rec. We're just talking about it. It's in the works. Nothing finalized right now, but, so just to do something to give back in the community, teach a little bit, but then also maybe also get clients as well.
That's awesome.
So,
well, and I think you went through an interesting growth phase, because you were growing and you actually downsized your shop.
right.
Which, when a lot of people are looking at making more money or doing better, they're like, I have to grow, I have to grow, I have to get more square footage, I have to hold more flowers. And you were like, okay, I can hold the same amount of inventory. I don't need this giant shop front, because in reality, it's not like people are walking by and going, ooh, let me buy some flowers.
They were, but not at the rate I needed for
To
my
justify
overhead.
the overhead. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And now I have a much smaller shop, and honestly, I really enjoy it a lot more, because I don't have to work so hard to pay all these extreme bills, and it's just, it was a very big learning curve, because first of all, I thought I always had to be working. So I didn't really have much of a social life my first year, I just was like, well, even at your wedding, it was hard for me at times to be social, because I was exhausted, or, I had to work. So it's hard to find that balance.
Yep.
So I've definitely been working on that, but
Who's watching the store now?
no one.
Okay. But that's, again, beauty of a small business owner.
Exactly. And the way I have it set up after COVID is I'm just doing curbside pickup or delivery right now, because I figure, I can help someone with those options.
Were you doing delivery before COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was letting people come in the shop. Now at this point, if I meet with a bride or something, they're definitely welcome. But at this point, it's just easy for me to go ahead and have it ready for them and just meet them outside.
is delivery, without asking hard numbers, is delivery a higher percentage of your revenue now than it was before COVID?
Yes.
Considerably more?
Yes.
And you think all that is all because of COVID?
Well, I think it's COVID and convenience.
Yeah.
Because some people are high risk and they don't want to come to my shop. So that's another reason why I'm just not offering it, just to kind of blanket everything, because some people don't feel comfortable coming in, and I completely respect that. So they're like, it's easier. Can you just please deliver this, even if it's just to the person's home, Yeah.
Do you expect, once we are released back to the public and there's a vaccine and whatever this evolves to, I've stopped using the word normal because, even new normal, I don't like that.
Who knows what that's going to be?
Right. Do you expect more people like, oh, I enjoyed having those delivered, I'm willing to pay, whatever that is to get delivered? Do you think that mindset is more prevalent now?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to go away, especially with like Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that stuff. Like,
everybody wants something fast and at their fingertips.
And if you don't have to leave your house, even better.
You'll pay $5 because I don't want to get out of my chair to get my shoes on to drive the car.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
And for flowers, a lot of people think, if I have it delivered, it shows I put thought into it, which they did, and a lot of the times the flowers mean a lot more than just flowers. A lot of times, someone messed up, or they are just truly in love and they're celebrating an anniversary. And that's kind of what I really enjoy about it, is seeing that chivalry is not dead. And there are guys that still care. And that even women too, I have women send their husbands. I think you've sent Scott stuff.
I did.
You know. Yeah. So,
gotta spoil that man.
I love just seeing that. And that's what I like the most about it.
And the wedding business is picking back up?
Yeah, actually. So I have weddings every weekend in October, which is exciting because I've had few and far between so far, but I think that now brides are starting to be like, okay, we're going to go ahead and push forward.
And as a small business owner, you're okay working weekends?
I'll work whenever I need to. Because,
amen, girl. Amen.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Preach.
Because then there are certain weekends that I set aside for myself, where I'm not going to accept a wedding. I'm booked that weekend, taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, they don't need to know.
Yeah, and it took me a while to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Once you understand the pacing of things, you're like, you know what? If I took this weekend off, I'm still have events the next 7 weekends. Mm-hmm. And you do a little bit more on the front end of that long weekend off. So but a lot of this, it's like COVID. And we've talked about this, the people and the companies that will succeed out of this, I think, are the ones that have been able to manage it. Not perfect it, not beat it, but at least just manage it. More deliveries.
Right.
Closed, but we'll bring it, stuff like that.
Or I'll meet you outside.
Instead of saying, well, I won't be able to see anybody or do anything, so why should I stay open? But you got to understand to manage it. It's like going through rain, snow, right? 108-degree weather for 9 days. You got to manage it. I'm not comparing COVID to this, don't get me wrong. But it's just when those situations come up, can you manage it or not? So, and you are. Sounds like you are.
Trying. I'm doing the best I can.
You're still open, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're managing it because we're way deep into it.
Yeah, I feel very thankful to be where I am, for sure, just because I know there are some people who still can't work right now, and I feel really bad for all of them, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Do you have projections for the fourth quarter, kind of a sense of what that's going to be like?
To be honest with you, I really have no idea.
Okay.
Just because... who knows what's going to happen after the election? Yeah. And realistically. Yeah.
You mean the night of or the 2 weeks
just
after?
Just in general, I feel good about October. I have events in November, but November, December, I guess we'll just see what happens and what's released in terms of COVID and if we can have events. Mm-hmm. I think that has the most to do with it, is the restrictions. Because if people can't have events... schools can't have events, nobody can have events, then that kind of limits a lot.
What's the most number of flowers, not for a wedding, made probably for an individual that you've delivered? And could you tell how big of a doghouse he was in?
Well, this one guy, he spent about $500 on just like an anniversary arrangement. So it wasn't that he was in the doghouse. It was just that he really wanted to show her he loved her and he wanted it to be the best.
Scott, are you listening?
So I would kill him if he spent $500 on something that, unless it had some kind of living aspect to it.
You'd kill it anyway.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would be sad. I would be really sad.
Well,
there's a limit to how much I want for flowers.
Yeah.
Well, some people don't do it often, so when they do, that's how they justify it. Yeah, they're like, I never do this. They really deserve it.
Yeah.
You know, or
I
they'll
would rather
say,
get like $500 stuff throughout the year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Well, I have had a lot of fun today.
Me too, thank you.
I'm really looking forward to some of my fun questions that I get to ask you on our next show. But if people are out there and they're listening and they're like, man, Trinity's such a great influencer. And of course, if she used Heather for her flowers, I want to use Heather for my flowers. So how would they reach you?
They can reach me at 919-429-7585 or Instagram. I'm Flower Creations NC, or Facebook, Flower Creations, or our website, flowercreationsrolesville.net.
Awesome. And I would definitely recommend that people get out there, check out your work. It is absolutely stunning. And if you want to see other pieces of her work, you can check out my wedding pictures on my Instagram account.
Yes, please do.
And COVID would be a good time for someone to send some, just checking on your flower arrangements, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because there's some people you probably haven't seen in a while. You want to make sure they're doing okay, and it doesn't have to be $500. It would be nice if it is.
Yeah.
But just a little arrangement to say, hey, thinking of you, hope you're okay.
And there's also, just to touch on it not staying alive, you can send plants.
Yes.
So you could do a nice dish garden, have different types of plants, so then that way they can transfer them into their yard when it's appropriate. So those kind of things can stick around.
That is cool. See, I like that.
Yep.
I like where your head's at.
It's very popular right now. Definitely.
And of course, what else is popular? Oh, Trinity French and Mike Manning. And if you want to follow us, if you want to find us, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we would love to hear from you. You can email us, info@wiredtochange.com. And right now we're in the throes of our mastermind group, but we have some other fun stuff coming up. So check out our website for future coaching and events that we will be doing. wiredtochange.com, and that's with the number 2.
Yep, and found a new listener the other day, our friend Rumi Rhodes, a banker. We're talking to her the other day. She goes, found your podcast. I love it. I listen to it all the time. So, Rumi, thank you very much.
Rumi, we love fan mail.
We do. And we'll see you next time on our Wired to Change podcast.